All right, solving equations, multi-step variables and variables. So we're going to recap everything we've done before, and also we are going to talk about just the rules and the dynamics of being able to move stuff from one side of an equal sign by using an inverse operation and doing the same thing to the other side. So you'll see whenever we start doing it. Like for example, on struggle number 1, this is one of the problems that you sent me saying, I'm not sure. So let's take a look. The way that I go about doing this is I try and look on one side of the equal sign and I look on the other. That's where the like terms come in. Do I see anything I can put together over here? No. Anything I can put together over here? No. Any distributive property? No. Okay. Now I have variables on both sides. That means I'm going to find my smallest variable. 1x is smaller than 2x. So how can I get rid of a positive 1x? Subtract 1x. And I'm going to do this problem in another way as well, so we can see that the rules still apply, moving the 2x over to the x. So if you have an x and you take away an x, what do you have? 0. You have nothing there. 2x minus 1x, x minus 4. Now you're down to a one-step equation. Get x by itself. Do you see any addition or subtraction? Yes. Okay. So let's just go back and substitute this answer into the original equation and see if it actually does make sense. So x was 4, so 2 times 4 minus 4. So order of operations, say do multiplication first. 2 times 4 is 8 minus 4. 8 minus 4 equals 4. 4 equals 4. Check. I'm going to go ahead and go over this one again, but you're going to see that we arrive at the same answer. X is going to equal 4. So if I don't start with the smallest variable and I just move one variable over to a side with a variable, you can see that this goes away. We're left with minus 4. We have x minus 2x giving us negative 1x. You can't have a negative x. And this is where in the previous problems that we've done, if you have a negative variable, all you do is take the opposite of both sides. What's actually happening there is you're dividing by negative 1. Anytime you divide same sign, you get a positive. So how many times does negative 1 fit into negative 1? One time. That's why we're left with a positive x right here. And how many times does negative 1 fit into negative 4? 4 times. So either way that you go about solving it, these are those little nuances that I was talking about whenever it comes to solving equations, especially multi-step. Okay, so struggle number 2, the second problem you said you had a problem with. I'm going to start with the smallest variable. Okay, so I know that there are no like terms on either side. I can't put an x and an 8 together. I can't put a 2x and a 3 together. So there's no parentheses, so I automatically know no distributive. So I know that I have variables on both sides. Start with the smallest. Get rid of that x. This is the same thing as minus 1x, and this is 1x. If you want to put a 1 there, go for it. That goes to nothing. You're left with 8 equals x plus 3. Bam. You are to a one-step equation now. Do you see add or subtraction? Yes. Do its opposite. X equals 5. So I rewrote it. There's no multiplication or division. X equals 5. So I'm going to go ahead and solve that problem the other way instead of starting with the smallest variable. The only reason you start with the smallest variable is because you don't want to mess with negatives with your x. So check this out. Okay, so we have x minus 2x give you negative x plus 8 equals 3. So we're at a one-step equation, technically a two-step because of that negative x. Get rid of the 8. Negative x equals negative 5. And remember, we had x equals 5 before. So you can see why, if we don't start with the smallest variable, you add an extra step into your problem. And there's nothing wrong with that. So we can take the opposite of x, which means we take the opposite of the other side as well, which also means we're dividing by negative 1. Oh, sorry, that should be a 1. Then we have x equals 5, yet again. All right. So these are the things that we were supposed to be able to get through. So what I want to emphasize is we are right here right now. All right. So write corresponding real world problems in one-step, two-step equations or inequalities. Check. Model and solve one variable. Check. Determine if values are true. Check. Write and solve equations using geometry concepts. We still need to touch on that, but that's not our focus right now because we're not leading into geometry right now. We're leading into 8th grade, which is going to be pre-algebra. So we have equations with variables on both sides. So far, we have checked off almost everything as it relates to equations. Just to start as a review, again, you can't hear it too many times. You see the equal sign. That's where the problem gets divided in half. So what operation is it? Plus 3. There's only one thing with an operation. We do its opposite. And notice I'm rewriting this. I'm not just writing the answer beneath it. 9 minus 3 is 6. 6 plus 3 equals 9. Check. I just checked it. Two-step equations. So you can see a plus sign. You can also see division because I see a fraction. So before we can tackle any type of fraction, unless it's the crazy types of fractions like we were seeing earlier, then we can start with the addition subtraction. Do you see anything being added or subtracted? Yes, the plus 1. So let's get rid of it. X divided by 4 equals 3. Okay, rewrote it. You see any multiplication or division? Yep. So do its opposite. Times 4. It's being divided by 4, so I'm going to multiply by 4. X equals 12. If we put 12 here, 12 divided by 4 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So 4 equals 4. Checked it. If you want to go through these, like hit pause and try and do distributive and like terms on your own and see how we match up, I think that's a great idea. I'm going to go through this, not teaching it per se, but I'm just going to solve all of the distributive. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times positive 2 is 4. 8 times 2x is 16x. What my algebra teacher told me to do was slash and dash. And that'll give you a better idea of what kind of number you're using. But I always just think of it like this because it's the same thing. So 8 times negative 3 would be negative 24. 6 times 3, 18. 6 times negative 2y is negative 12y. 9 times 2x, 18x. 9 times 3y plus 27y. No like terms. Final answer. Like terms, we get 5x. Like terms, we get negative 3x. No like terms, that's final answer. No like terms, that's final answer. So multi-step equations, just throw the distributive and like terms in there. You see distributive. Yes, that means you have to do it. 3x plus 12 equals 20. Now we got a problem we can solve. This is a two-step equation. Like terms? None. Add or subtract? Yes. Rewrote it. Multiply or divide? Yep. So multiplying by 3, so divide by 3. X equals 2 2/3. So this is the relevance of having an improper fraction and knowing how to turn that into a mixed number. 3 goes into 8 2 times, and you have a remainder of 2 out of the 3 parts. And at any time, you can pause the video before I start working this, and you work them out. Because whenever we get into the variables on both sides, this is like the most simplistic one of variables on both sides. This is where I'm going to start showing you how to move pieces, okay? So I want to emphasize, I am not solving this one right now. I'll tell you when I am. Not solving right now. I'm not doing it. I'm going to show you some just rules and stuff to make it to where you can navigate an equation. That equal sign is incredibly important. It's saying one side is equal to another. If you were to put 5 apples on one side, and originally it was equal weight, it would make it uneven, thus making it no longer equal. So what we do to one side, we have to do to the other. I'm going to just move stuff around, okay? So this is what a rule is that you can do. So feel free to be able to experiment with these problems and move stuff as long as you're using mathematical rules. Like for example, this negative 2x. You know what? I want it over there. As long as I do it to both sides, I'm good to go. 4x, okay? Now you can see how this turns into a one-step equation. Not a big deal. I'm going to erase this, and I'm going to move something else. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to erase it. I'm going to move this 8. How do I get rid of an 8? Minus 8. Why would I move this 8? Only to show you that you can move stuff around. Okay? I'm just going to move this 4x now. And what does that do for us? Absolutely nothing. But we are back to a one-step equation. We can divide by negative 4 and we can get x equals 2. And we had that same answer right up here. Divide by 4, 8 divided by 4 is 2. So now I'm going to go through and actually solve the correct way using the strategies that I use and teach to solve multi-step equations with variables on both sides. So I see variables on both sides. Which one is less, negative 2x or 2x? Right, it's negative 2x. So I'm going to get rid of that by doing its opposite on both sides. We got rid of it. And this right here is called creating a zero pair. Like if I did plus 1, negative 1, that equals 0. Anytime you add opposites, it turns into a zero pair because it's a pair of the same thing, but opposites, so they always equal 0. 2x plus 2x is 4x. One-step equation. Distributive. No. Like terms. Actually, you know what? We did like terms right here, but there weren't any that we could combine to simplify the problem. That's what we mean by that. Was there any addition or subtraction? Yes. But notice that we didn't start with this. So we started with a variable and we moved it. So move variable to one side. Because that's what we ultimately want. We want x to equal something, not x to equal something plus x. So we did our adding and subtracting. We did minus, minus the 2x. We did plus 2x. We rewrote it. Now do you see any multiply or divide? Yes. X equals 2. Exactly like what we were doing when we were moving the stuff around anyway. Take a moment to yourself, hit pause, and see how far you can get on this one. Start with your smallest variable. Okay, so we're dividing the problem in half where the equal sign's at. We see that there are no like terms, there's no distributive. Are we going to add and subtract yet? No, because we have our little asterisk right here. I see variables on both sides. I can't do this stuff yet. So move variable. Which one's less, negative 2x or 3x? Negative 2x. And what's its opposite? Plus 2x. That equals 0. It's okay to have 0 in a problem. 3x plus 2x is 5x. Now, just looking at this new problem, this is a two-step equation. So do I see any adding subtract? Yes. So I'm going to do the opposite of plus 3, minus 3. So this is our PEMDAS in reverse. We're finally set up to use the algorithms that we know. Rewrote it. Multiply or divide. I'm going to divide by 5 since we're multiplying by 5. X equals negative 0.6. That's why we understand the benchmark fractions conversions to decimals and decimals converted to fractions because of answers like this. At negative 3/5 is the same thing as negative 0.6. Okay, hit pause, try the best you can, see what you got. And I apologize for my sniffles. My allergies are not doing well today. So, any distributive? Well, I see no parentheses on either side of this problem, so no. Do I see any like terms? 4b and 5, I can't put that together. 1 and 5b, I can't put that together. Okay, so now, oh man, I got variables on both sides. Now I need to move variables to one side. So which is smaller, 4b or 5b? 4b, so I'm going to get rid of it. 5 equals 1 plus b, or 1b, whatever you want to do. Now we're down to a one-step equation. Do you see any adding or subtraction? Yes. So how do you get rid of a plus 1? You minus 1. It's always good to think about what is the value of this number here and how can I get rid of it? Because if that were a negative 1 plus b, we would be doing a plus 1 to get rid of the negative. 5 minus 1 is 4 equals b. b equals 4. There was no multiply or divide. We didn't have to rewrite it. So let's see. 4 times 4 is 16 plus 5 is 21. 5 times 4 is 20 plus 1 is 21. So 21 equals 21. Check. Again, same routine, and just know that spot right here before you can start doing anything that we did with one or two-step equations. Get rid of the multi-step. Okay, so I'm dividing the problem in half. I do not see anything that shows me distributed. Looks like everything's already been distributed. The 4a plus, or 4a minus 4, no parentheses, nothing to distribute. 5a minus 8, nothing to distribute. Like terms. On this side of the problem, there's nothing I can combine. I can't put 4a and minus 4 together. I can't do 5a minus 8. So no like terms. But I do see variables on both sides. So I'm going to move variables over to 1. Which is bigger, 4a or 5a? I'm going to move 4a just to avoid dealing with negatives. Negative 4 equals a minus 8. Okay. Do I see any add or subtraction? Yes. Plus 8. Negative 4 plus 8 is 4. A equals 4. Okay. Let's see. 4 times 4 is 16, minus 4 is 12. 5 times 4 is 20, minus 8 is 12. Check. Substituting an answer back in. Number next to a variable means multiply. 4 times 4. So, challenge number 1, and there's going to be a challenge number 2. I want you to really put forth an effort trying to make it through challenge 1. Challenge 1 and challenge 2 have a mix of absolutely everything we've done. So I just want to make sure that you're able to navigate the checklist and arrive to a logical answer. And if you substitute back in and it works, then you're right. So I'm going to take you on the honor system, saying right now that you've paused it, and you're going to try this problem and the next one, and then you'll hit play to watch what the whole process is for this problem. All right. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to do this, but I really do want you to hit pause and solve this problem before I do it. All right. Here I go. Okay. There are no distributive. So I'm looking on this side. I don't see anything that I can multiply into that combo. I'm looking on this side. I don't see anything I can multiply into that combo. Like terms, 6c and 14. Nope. Oh, dang, look at that. Negative 5c and 9c. I can put those together. Negative 5 and 9. That'll give me 4c plus 4. Okay, now I'm going to rewrite the problem. Oh, okay. Now it just looks like we have that step, and we can do it. Move the variables over to one side, or which side are we going to move? We're going to choose the variable with the least value, 4c. 4c minus 4c is nothing. We're left with plus 4. 14 plus, what's 6c minus 4c? 2c. Now you can see that we have, and that was not a c joke, we have a two-step equation. Now we're back into our comfort zone. We're going to subtract 14. 2c equals negative 10. Okay, rewrote it. 3c multiplication, yep. Divide by 2. I don't think I even said words right there. So c equals negative 5. Okay. Now, I mean, I'll go through and substitute it back in. So 6 times negative 5 is negative 30 plus 14 would be negative 16. Negative 5 times negative 5 is negative 25 plus, well, yeah. So negative 25 plus 4 is negative 21 plus 9 times negative 5, negative 21. Oh, wait, no. That was 21. Yeah, there we go. Because 9 times negative 5 is 45. 21. Do that 16. All right, this is again. Please pause the video. Please try and do this. Let's see what you're made of. And I want you to really pay attention to the area that you're having a problem with so you can tell me, and then I can help you with that. Distributive. No, there's nothing to multiply inside of a group. So like 5 parentheses x plus 1 parentheses. So that isn't, there's not there. Like terms. Yes, I can already see them. X and 4x. I can put those together and make this problem a little more simple. 5x plus 9. 2x, 16. Cool. Now we're in that little spot right here to where we can get back into our rhythm, okay? We want to get the smallest variable over to the other side. What's smaller, negative 2x or 5x? Negative 2x is smaller for sure. That goes to nothing. We're left with 16 equals 7x plus 9. Now we have a two-step equation. Can you add or subtract? Yes. We're going to subtract that 9. 7 equals 7x. Rewrote it. Multiply and divide. Yep, I'm going to divide by 7. X equals 1. 16 minus 2 times 1, so 16 minus 2 is 14. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 4 is 14. Check. Please, put forth your best effort. Don't worry about being wrong. Just please provide evidence that you are going through these steps and not just writing an answer.